Going live. All right. Statistics mention that more and more people are unhappy in their relationships. And to us in Asia Mind Dynamics, people often come to us and say, is it possible for us to even find in our training, find a partner for them? Can they worry about making people fall in love with them? Other people then call us up and they want coaching or therapy and even ask us if we can erase a part of their memory. Welcome to this Facebook Live and on the topic, why don't you love me? Good evening everybody, and let's play. Here we are, and I promise you we are going to have a great show tonight because it is really an interesting topic. It is a topic that I don't talk every day about, but it's a very, very interesting topic. So let me ask you, have you ever been in love before? Well, have you really ever been in love before? I don't know how old you are, maybe you're younger or you're older, but have you ever fallen in love with somebody? Let's talk about this tonight because that is a topic for tonight. It's about the big thing called love, and it's not even Valentine's Day, but never mind that. And of course, hey, as we are going along, it would be really, really nice if along that line you would also like this video, give us a big heart, love this video. Hey, it's about love, okay? Love this video, give us a smile and share it across the timeline, on your timeline, because so many people really ask us about love strategies, how to fall in love, and how do you make people fall in love with you? And is that really, really possible? And of course, along that line, it is your session as well. Feel free to ask plenty of questions. Like not only, love not only, share the video and ask plenty of questions. So I have to dig down deep into my knowledge base center somewhere inside here to help me ask my knowledge center to help me answer your question. And I was like, I have a split personality today, all right? Now, again, really, ask as many questions as you want. Now, I would like to know from you guys, really, 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 let's talk about love. Really, love. Let's talk about love, because I believe love is the greatest feeling there is on the planet. Love is just so fantastic. What do you think? Really, is there any other feeling in the world which is stronger and more beautiful than love? I don't want to talk about negative emotions right now, like hate or fear or rage or anger. I just want to talk about this positive emotion of feeling love. And really, remember the time when you were once in love with somebody for the very first time, or along that line, maybe you're more often in love. Give me a yes if you've ever been in love before. It's a beautiful feeling because you're sitting there, you're talking to somebody, or you're talking to friends, and there's this other party suddenly, and you're realizing, whoa, something is happening, a reaction within yourself is happening. A feeling is growing within yourself. And sometimes it's just like a wave coming up, isn't it? That this feeling of love is floating all across us, and our heart starts pumping, and our words don't come out as smooth anymore as they used to before. We are stumbling, and we wish so much that the other person would feel the same thing. And it would be so nice always to know if if the other person, we fall in love with somebody, and then the other person is reciprocating, but a difficult word, giving the same feeling back, you know. I'm sorry. And two people fall in love with each other. And it's a great feeling, isn't it? And you're in love and you can't sleep. I couldn't sleep when I was in love. Hey, I'm still in love with my wife, of course, you know. And falling in love, so really the time falling in love, can't sleep, laying awake at night. At that time there was no handphones or hanging on the phone for hours and hours. Hey Hakim, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Have you ever, Hakim, have you ever been in love before? I mean, before you were married, of course, you know. Have you been in love with somebody else? Let me know in the comments. Share this video as well, because we are talking about love today. And it's a great feeling. I just described it. And it's a wonderful, good feeling to have. And whoa, I remember, I don't know if you guys remember those little things called telephone that were plugged into the wall. And I was hanging on the phone for hours and hours way back in Germany. Hanging on there, sneaking away because the line was not too long, so I had to sneak away because I didn't want to have my parents listening to my conversations, of course, with my girlfriend at that time, okay, or the person I wanted to date or I dated at that time. And it felt so good. But of course, there were also, yeah, of course you are in love. I am now. Congratulations. It feels good, right, Hakim? Let us know how it feels. It feels fantastic, isn't it? To be really deeply in love with somebody. Aren't you the guy, Hakim, who just got married? Or am I in the wrong boat right now as well? I don't know. Let me know, okay? Now, there are, of course, the other sometimes a situation which also happened to me. And it's like the time when thanks for the laughter face here. The time in our life and when I was in love with somebody, and I was trying so hard to get the other person to love me, and it just didn't work out, you know. It was so heartbreaking, so tears coming down and sitting opposite of the room, and she was the opposite side, and she was maybe hanging out with her at that point of time boyfriend or so, and it was like, oh goodness, how can I reach out to her? How can I make it happen? Sometimes she knew that I was in love with her because, hey, I'm an open guy, so it was easy for me to just go up and, well, not just go up and say, hey, I love you, but having an outing, having a date, something like that, and just mentioning it, I like you very much, would love to be your boyfriend, and then the bad news came, no, sorry, I'm in a relationship, and then the heart breaks, and and if you ever have been in a situation like this, you know, I read a study today, it's like obsessive compulsive behavior, comparable to being in love sometimes. And it's true. Sometimes we have the same behavior, like being obsessive compulsive in a positive manner, of course. We are hanging out, we are thinking too often about that person. We want to be around that person constantly. And whoa, it's nice if a relationship really works out. But if it doesn't work out, how often did you ever wish to have we'll talk about it later, the magic wand, that magic wand to just wave it across the room and the person that falls in love with you? Have you ever had that dream that you could make people fall in love with you? Now, a question before we go there to this topic would be, of course, how do you know? Yeah, I'm coming from NLP, and I didn't even say who I am. Andreas is my name. Forgot again last week already. And I'm a certified NLP trainer and hypnosis trainer, and of course everything about the mind. So love is the feelings and the mind really getting lingered up and tangled up together, and people act crazy when they're in love. But let me ask you a question, those of you who are just listening in. How do you know? How do you know how it feels to be in love or to fall in love? Do you really know how it feels when you fall in love with somebody else? Let me know in the comments. Say, yes, I know. That would be great feedback for me. Just type into the comments, yes, I know how to fall in love, or yes, I know. So I do know that you are here with me, because I'm going to share quite a bit of information with you in just a moment of how NLP thinks about falling in love and other people to fall in love with you. Because that's an important topic somewhere along that line. So let me know if you have been in love before and if you do know how to fall in love. Because in NLP, we are saying that anything you do is a conscious, yes, I know, Hakim, you just mentioned you were in love, but thank you for participating. I really appreciate that a lot, you know. Now, in NLP, we say that anything we do is a behavioral, conscious and unconscious program running in our mind. Lester, yes, I think I know. Lol. That's why you're here, to learn some more about love, isn't it? Thanks for being here, Lester. I appreciate it very much, okay? And in NLP, we are saying anything you do is based on a syntax, and conscious and unconscious syntax that produces a certain outcome. An outcome you want or you don't want. So falling in love, knowing how you fall in love, is nothing else but a very unconscious program that gets triggered along that line. So let me ask you guys, only guys here right now, I think. Any ladies here right now? Because I can't see there any ladies online. Would be nice to know. Say hello. Then it pops up on my screen that I do know that you are there. It would be lovely to know. So, what must the other person do? So you know. What must the other person do? So you know that they are in love with you. What must they do? Would be interesting to know. Just type it down. What would another person need to do? So you know, you who is watching it right now, knows they are in love with you. Is it, for example, and of course in NLP we talk about visual, auditory, kinesthetic. For those of you who don't know NLP, hey Sean, hi, good to see you as well, okay? Have you ever been in love before Sean? Of course you have. I do know. Now, visual, would they have to bring you flowers, for example? Would they have to bring you out to a shopping mall? Bring you out to bring you to places, so you know that the other person is in love with you. Would they need to bring you to places? Bring you flowers? Yeah, Lester Sieber, getting more into the strategy work in just a moment, okay? Open your NLP Prac Manual, it's in there as well, and you'll learn a bit about this one as well, of course, you know. So, would the other person you bring you flowers, books, presents, something nice for you to see, bring you places, shopping mall, go shopping around, so you know they're in love with you. Or would they talk to you in a certain tonality, a certain vibration in their tonality, so you know they are in love with you? Sean is in love with this stuff. How can I talk further, Lester, if you say that like that, you know? Sean is in love with the Star Wars Lego minifigures. Sean, what are you saying about that one? That's so funny, you know? Now, let's go back, okay? Will they have to talk in a certain manner, say certain words to you, so you know that they are in love with you? It would be good to know, you know? Or do you need to be touched? Do you need to be touched at certain spots? At your arm, at your shoulder, at little touches, of course, culturally appropriate. But hey, I'm coming from NLP, so it's just a mind program. That a diamond ring, yeah, all right. Not sure I would know when she gets a diamond ring that somebody's in love with her, so she still doesn't know that I'm in love with her, because we are running different programs then, apparently. Oh my goodness. I just learned the love strategy of my wife. So we have the one strategy, do you need to be brought to places? The second strategy, they say stay young in a certain way. There's a lot about you, Hakim, okay? They say, I love you in a certain way. There's certain words, of course, you know. Or you need to be touched at certain spots, at your arm, your shoulder, not your backside, okay? Or only at certain private places sounds wrong as well, where you can be touched, and then you know they are in love with you. Why do I say this? Because if they need to do this for you, what happens in all these other components, if you, for example, want to be touched, or hey, yes, we're talking a little bit about love language, but according to NLP, Sean, NLP love languages, okay? If you want to be brought places, but the other party is just more the verbal type and says, hey, darling, stay young, I love you, it's so nice to be here with you alone, then you would have different strategies running. You would be on different planets, Mars and Venus, or Pluto and Mars even also, or Earth talking to Mars. You would communicate in different languages. And that would mean automatically as miscommunication starting to happen, because if the other person doesn't have a similar strategy as you have, you are like that. They talk like this and they're trying to express it to you, and you want to have that one. You would know if the other person is in love with you. You would not know if the other person is in love with you. You would speak different languages. Wow, I like the way you break it down. Lots of ideas. Touching private places. Yeah, that's a different idea, Lester, okay? Yeah, it might work after some of the other stuff first. For you, Lester, okay? For you, all right? There's some interesting stuff around love going on, I tell you. You don't even know that, even though you're married for such a long time. Now, what happens, of course, if the other person's got a different program running from yours, it's miscommunication. It's happening, things go wrong. And if the other person that you want to have falling in love with you, is that grammatically correct? Doesn't really matter right now. So if you fall in love with somebody, but they communicate at a different level, you would not pick it up that they are actually in love with you, because you wait for them to bring you out of the shopping mall while they just want to sit next to you and talk. Sorry. And they get frustrated as well. Why don't they also say, why doesn't he or she love me? And ultimately, the other person will simply go away, walk away, frustrated, because he or she might believe that you don't love them. Miscommunication, breakup, designed to happen. So in NLP, again, we say these are the inner programs that are running, and it's very important that you become aware of how do you know when somebody else loves you. How do you know that somebody else loves you? That's crucially important. And if you like so far what you hear, give me a like, give me a love, hug, give me anything you've got here, and give me some comments. And share this video on your timeline, because it's good stuff. It's really important stuff, because so many relationships break up or never even happen because people miscommunicate. Now, I just talked about the different communications programs running in our mind. Now, that is just how we are perceiving the other person to be. Where is it actually coming from? Well, it comes from deep down inside of us, of course, and it's how we have been trained from childhood onwards. When we were little kiddos, we observed our parents. We observed our parents of how they were talking to each other, how they were treating each other, how do they express their love to each other. And we didn't know at that point of time. We just know we love our papa, we love our mama, but we had no idea. We had no idea that this will determine the programs running inside of our mind that will long term then determine again how we are approaching relationships today. It's amazing because, hey, if you have your parents give you your blueprint for running a relationship. Give me just 1 second. I gotta shrink this a little bit because it's a bit too big here right now. What's better? I can sit more comfortable. So they give you somehow their blueprint for expressing and receiving love. And of course, if you are, so kids adopt or reject the parent's blueprint for relationship. How do parents talk? Do they treat each other? Do they hug each other? Do they kiss each other? And that's how they adopt it. Do they bring each other out? Do they walk arm in arm? Do they hold hands? Kids learn and watch and observe from their parents. And of course, if kids grew up in a relationship that was abusive, they also learn that this is a way of how a relationship's going to be run. They learn this as well, as sad as it sounds. They learn at a very young age how to run those unconscious strategies. Who are they? How do they receive and perceive love and give love to other people? And again, it's nothing more than programs running, like other programs, like how do you get motivated? How do you make money? How do you create poverty? Anything you do is running in your mind at a very, very unconscious level. It's just a program that you actually can change if you learn good NLP. Of course, with us here would be best, of course, in Asia Mind Dynamics, but I don't want to go for promotion yet. So, let's now talk about you. It's really important, of course, because let's talk about you and how you fall in love with another person. Because I mentioned it earlier, we always wish, let me see if I get that here right now. No, okay, not yet. Where's my beautiful magic spell? Yes, how often do we wish we have the magic spell that we could control other people, but you need to realize that we can't control other people. Even though we secretly wish we would have that ability to cast a spell on other people. Because inside of us, if somebody doesn't love us how we want to be loved, we feel empty, isn't it? We feel empty. But it's now about you here. Do you know what you want in a relationship? So here you are sitting. You are maybe falling in love with the other person. You're wishing the other person is falling in love with you. Do you really know? Because there's a third component that you need to realize. Do you really know what you want from or in a relationship? What's important to you about a relationship? Because, Lester, all right, let me read your comment right now. Lester says, that's cool, makes sense. Waiting to see if you later talk about why sometimes opposites attract and why teenagers rebel and go for a love archetype different from their upbringing environment. Oh, goodness. Okay, hold on. We are talking about you right now, Lester, okay? Much more important, okay, what comes next. I promise you that, Because if people, listen carefully what I'm saying next, okay? If people don't fall in love with you, what does it say about you and your inner programs? What are you putting out there unconsciously that makes it tough for people to fall in love with you? Let me repeat this one more time. If you're in love and you wish the other person, and it's beyond now speaking the same language, it's beyond like bringing you to a shopping mall or touching you or saying sayang, speaking a certain language type or having a normal tonality. If people don't fall in love with you more than once, it can happen of course once, it can happen twice or 3 times or so, but after 3 times, think about it, maybe even after 2 times, it becomes an unconscious pattern that you make it tough somehow along that line for people to fall in love with you. So what are you putting out there at a certain level unconsciously that makes it hard for other people to fall in love with you? What are you communicating at an unconscious level to the outside world that makes it tough, hard, impossible for people to love you? Yes, we can behave differently. And then, of course, it comes along. We can behave differently. We can adjust to each other. We can have the behavioral flexibility, what you'll learn in NLP. So you don't mind too much. You can express it better if you are in a relationship and the person is very different from you, of how you want to be loved or how you would like the other person to behave. That's absolutely possible if you are aware how you want to be loved by the other person. For example, I wrote down a couple of things here. Let's say, for example, what do you want in a relationship? Think about that. What do you really want in a relationship? Let's say you want to be respected. Respected is very important. But how would you know that the other person is respecting you? How would you know that? And can you communicate it out to the other person? And what kind of respect do you expect? What kind of respect? Respect could mean many, many things to different people. Do you really know exactly what you want in a relationship and what you don't want in a relationship? It's incredibly crucial, important. Respect. Honesty. Do you want the other person to be honest? But how do you know that they're honest with you? Do you want to have honesty at all levels every single day? Clean sheet? Really? All the time? It's important if you can answer this. And hey, can you put it out there as well? If you expect it to happen, can you be honest in the most brutal way to the other person? How to give love. Hey, I want to be loved. I want to feel the love. Yay! But how would you know that they give you love? How would you know? And what kind of love do you expect? Is it the hug that you expect as a sign of love? But what kind of hug? What kind of pressure? 50 times a day? 100 times a day? 1,000 times a day? Or maybe just 2 times a day? Which is it? Have you got a list of things that you expect from the other person? And so on. Write down a whole long list. And then you have done that, and now here it comes. Now it's getting really, really, really crucial here. So listen carefully for the next couple of minutes, please. And I want you at a later stage also to do this exercise. So when you have written down all the stuff that allows you to know what you want in a relationship, and you have all that stuff, when you have all that stuff that you want, respect, honesty, integrity, a common goal together, spending time with each other, going on a holiday, shopping, everything, when you have that clarity in your mind, when you think of that, do you have a picture of it all together, of the ideal person, the ideal behavior, the ideal everything? Do you really have that? And do you get, when you have that person, that thing, that feeling, that thing in your mind of what you really want, do you also, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel when you got that? And you have that all together. When you have that all together, how does it make you feel? Now here comes the crucial step. You have in your mind that person you love so much, with all this criteria that you want to have in that ideal behavior. If you take that person away, holding on to that feeling, and you're looking into the mirror, do you get the same feeling? Let me repeat that again. You have that ideal person in your mind with everything you've written down earlier. Everything. You have that ideal person in your mind. When you have that, you get a feeling of deep love for that person. You really want to have that. And now I want you to move that picture away. And I want you kind of look into into a mirror. Would you feel that same feeling when someone else treats you that way, that you want to be treated the same way? So when you look into a mirror at that point of time, would you feel the same feeling as when someone else I have to written it down, so I have to read it up. It's a long sentence, So when you were to look in the mirror, would you feel the same feeling as when someone else treats you the way that you want to be treated? So you know that you feel loved. If you don't, if you have that same feeling, then you really deeply love yourself. Great, congratulations, tap on your shoulder. However, and now listen carefully of what comes next, and I want you to be clear about the next statement. Burn it into your mind, into your neurology. It's the most important statement that I have said the whole, how long, half an hour now. I want you to be clear about this one, because how can you expect to love, to, sorry, how can someone love you the way you expect it if you don't love yourself? Let me repeat that one more time, because it's really an important statement and I was interrupting myself before. How can someone love you the way you expect it if you don't love yourself? It's about self-love. Everything I said before, it's really about self-love. Loving yourself. And if you don't love yourself, if you look into the mirror and you don't have the same positive feeling that you expect from the other person, then another person outside there will have a hard time loving you, will have a hard time falling in love with you, because that's your unconscious stuff that you are putting out there constantly. I don't love myself, and if you don't love yourself, you can look outside, it's hard for you to find true love. You might create a neediness to fill that emptiness within yourself. You might clutch on to somebody because you hope they can fill up that emptiness within yourself and you actually feel. But long term, it won't work, because they will not be able to fill that gap, that vacuum that you feel within yourself if you don't love yourself. You must love yourself to the max, and only then can somebody else fall in love with you at the deepest level possible. That's the secret, basically, for a good and wonderful relationship. Now, how do you, if you have stuff in you that holds you back in loving you, you need to go into a journey of self-discovery, on a journey of healing yourself. And to me, sorry to say that, it's really about NLP here right now, and timeline therapy and even hypnosis that allows you then to really undo all that rubbish that the world has done to you and that you accepted from childhood onwards. Timeline therapy to remove all those negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear from the past. You don't need that anymore. The hurt you felt, the guilt you have, remove it to get stronger from within yourself. Remove the limiting decisions about you, that you are not good enough. Go about doing this. Removing limiting decisions is an easy process, but removing them from the beginning of time, that you do know that you can allow yourself to fall in love with yourself. It's so important to fall in love with yourself. When you identify that your strategies that I described earlier are somewhat haywire, that you have a neediness for another person, you can restructure your strategies so you are more, well, you do know more about yourself. You're creating a deep inner sense, a deep inner awareness about how you go about falling in love and how you respond to people falling in love. What is your motivation? Are you moving? Some people are having this fear of getting into a relationship, but on the other hand, they also want to have a relationship. On the one hand, they really fear, don't come too close to me, but don't leave me alone. Don't come too close to me, but don't leave me alone. It's a terrible, terrible situation to be in. NLP helps you to really remove this as well. So it's all about healing yourself. It's not about deleting parts of your memory. As I mentioned in the beginning, Paul, sometimes people call us up and say, hey, can you delete a part of my memory? So they want to erase a part of a memory because they have so deeply been hurt by somebody else. It's not about that. It's about learning about yourself, learning from those events, then those negative emotions simply disappear. It's about healing yourself. So you can incredibly fall in love with yourself. Because again, only if you love yourself will other people respond back to you at a different level altogether. And you will start putting out stuff to the world that it's simply easier for other people to fall in love with you as well. And then you don't need to come up with that question anymore. Why don't you love me? Because you know what it takes to fall in love. And everybody else will also fall in love with you. This is Andreas here from Asia Mind Dynamics, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Please share it on your timeline. Please share it. Please post some more comments. Would be lovely. Post comments. Share it with people that really need to hear about that video because it's so important. And it's good stuff I think I delivered. I fall in love with my own stuff here right now. It's way longer than I thought. But hey, I see you next week, Tuesday evening next week, 8 o'clock, when we have another Facebook Live session on something else, something similar, maybe about love again. All right? Until then, you remember, you can create your life. And good night.